All right, let's get on to Room on Fire, because that's why, you know, we've come out to New York City to hang with you, and I had some chance, like I said, to listen to it, and I really loved the record. Now, there was all this talk about kind of initially working with Nigel Godrich, which everyone in the British press was initially like, oh, you know, how's this going to, you know, affect the sound of the Strokes and all this kind of stuff. Did you even care about how it was going to affect, or did you just want to experiment? Was it just a reason?
I think that's why we asked him, we said, would you come and can we try 2 songs with you?
Yeah.
And see what it's like, to see if maybe we can do a record, just curiosity, you know.
The whole point, I think, was to see how it would affect the sound of the Strokes.
Yeah.
See if maybe we could take what we had and, you know, sort of bring it up a level in, you know, in
just with someone new, just
so,
adding another
you know, we knew we wanted our second record to sound a little bit less like a demo tape than our first one did. And it was fun. It was like, I think we worked with him for like a month, and it was fun, but the end result sounded a little too professional for us.
Sure. Do you like to take more of a hands-on role in the studio? I know that you kind of get a little bored of the whole process of analysing the record and putting it in. I've read that. I don't know if that's true.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Albert, I mean, do you enjoy being in the studio a little more?
Here and there. I mean, yeah, I definitely enjoy the studio. You know, I like the whole concept of trying to get sound onto something, and it's very like kind of voodoo-ish. You know, it's how the hell does that? How the hell do you get try to get something to sound really good on a CD? You know.
Yeah. Had you learned a lot about that process from the
That's
first
his
record?
nature, though. This man is tone obsessed. He really is. He just he's fanatical about slight little differences in sound.
That's the one thing about your records, though, well, both of them, that I've noticed, you know, is that especially on the new one, you know, you've taken individual sounds. You seem to have really concentrate on the sound of the guitar.
Well,
and the sound of the
I want to
drums.
say, you said that, but you too, dude. You found that amazing guitar sound.
Yeah, that was a fluke, though. That was like by accident.
I know.
Is that the one that sounds like the keyboard?
Yeah, we were like playing, and then you forgot you left the tone off. Yeah, but
It's pretty much a complete accident, though.
But that's
makes me want to break into spontaneous mime.
Oh, man, feel free at any time. Even if there's no music playing, just feel free anyway.
mime the lowest of the low.
But it is true. Every single instrument on each song, it feels almost like it's a solo in a way. You know, it's a very spacious sounding record. You know, there's not a lot of like noise coming out.
We took a lot of time in finding sounds. Obviously, for some reason, the guitars are usually always the easiest thing to get, but for drums and bass and vocals and everything, we just took a lot of time, and Gordon JP just made the vibe really great in the studio. You know?
As guitar players, two of you guys, obviously, the two-headed axe monster that is the Strokes. Do you play a lot together? Because, I mean, I know that, you know, you probably bring your own riffs and ideas separately, and everybody does that, but do you come up with ideas together?
What do you mean, like, go in a room and
bond with the guitars?
I don't know, like, you know, I know sometimes when we go to places and we're jet lagged, I'm like in his room and we just play like the songs. You know, like we play like and it's just pretty. Sometimes you just want to hear the guitar slow. It's probably the prettiest thing. You know?
Sometimes we just practice like 2 unplugged electric guitars, just practice like that for fun.
Yeah.
And other times we get pretty like do little space jams.
Space songs are by far. Like a long time ago when we first started playing, we used to do that. Space songs, like a half an hour. Be like afterwards, we're like,
It's like, you know those weird indie rock songs that just
Go on.
they just never stop.
Jazz Odysseys?
I swear, and then all of a sudden you kind of wake up and you're like,
Have we been doing this for 45 minutes?
It's just it's the greatest quote of the interview so far, man. You know, we get a little do a little space jam. Do you ever swap each other's parts, though, you know, when you're going on stage, like, oh, I'll do that bit on last night,
I'll take your part, there you go, you take my part.
Not on stage, no. Sometimes in the rehearsal studio, working through things.
A lot, actually. I mean, sometimes we swap back and forth. Like we'll switch, and then he'll end up going back to you.
If a song's not working out, and we need like, oh, well, what can we do? Like, let's try and switch these parts, and then, you know, like very different playing styles.
There's also certain things that we kind of know. You know, it's like Nick's going to do what I'm going to do, you know?
Yeah. You definitely have definite your own styles. I mean, that's something I'd say as a compliment, you know, as guitar players. When you hear Strokes records, you can tell when Nick's playing, you can tell when Albert's playing, and that's,
cool,
I suppose, as a guitar player, that's what you're hoping to achieve.
I like that. I think it's cool that there's a lot of times when you have 2 guitar players, it's hard to find distinction in it, you know?
That's true. So let's talk a little bit about Gordon, because the producer, he's really proud of that record. He's very, very proud of that record. And,
Gordon.
you know,
Gordon.
one of the loveliest men I've met in a very long time.
Yeah, really?
And yep, really, really nice. And you know, coming back to him, I guess having a bit more confidence, having worked with Nigel and realising that you don't need a professional sound, you don't need somebody to steer you away from the sound of the Strokes. Confidence must have been really high. You must have been really excited when you finally got back in TMF and started again, you know.
Definitely.
It was great. It was.
The thing with Gordon is he just makes things really easy for us, you know? It's almost like you can be so vague with him and he'll really understand what you're talking. You can tell him like, oh, I want it to sound like, water dripping from a faucet. And he's like, I know exactly what you mean. He tweaks a couple of buttons and it just works out somehow. He's got
funny.
Like, same kind of mind as the five of us, I think.
Yeah.
It's so funny to have him and like JP.
Yeah.
JP will come in and say like, at 200K, lower that a little bit. And Joe Gordon's like, Gordon doesn't rest until like we're happy, which is cool,
Yeah.
We're all happy. That's really.
But it was actually quite a production team this time. Like we had an engineer, as opposed to the first record, it was just pretty much the band and Gordon.
It wasn't even a board. It was like straight to computer.
This time we had the engineer, Toshi, a Japanese man, very sweet man.
Yeah.
And Gordon, and obviously JP. JP was there, he's definitely part of the production team.
What's his role with you guys? Because his name gets thrown around in interviews. You mentioned him a few times, and I've read in one particular, I think it's Mojo, the Guru, yeah. What's a guru to the Strokes? I mean, what kind of stuff do you have to be?
I think that was,
I was applying
that
for.
was sort of a joke.
You're opening as guru for the Strokes. What would I be required to do?
It was a joke. It was.
It was sort of like, oh, well, how are we going to credit you on the album? And it just came out like Guru. Everybody found that pretty funny, so just did it.
This record says it.
Really, he's around all the time. Every minute that we were recording the album, he was there, helping out, listening to things, and it's just very nice to have somebody who's a little bit older, a little bit wiser, knows a lot more about music than we do, and about music technically, and also about music sonically, and how to produce things. So it just facilitates the recording process.
Overall, just everything.
He's like a producer in an old school level, guru in a new school level.
Sort of.
Even like, you're just playing a take and you don't know if you had it, and like if we all trust him, he's like, I think that was rad. You feel more comfortable. You feel like it's just like when you close the door, you really want the energy in the room to be like,
perfect.
Like everyone's trying to accomplish some main goal.